Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today, we are learning from the master, El Maestro, right? As I don't pronounce correctly, but Warren Buffett. He is the man today. We are going to be learning some of his most practical, most simple, and most actionable investment advice for you as a federal employee, because you have unique needs, you have unique investments in the TSP. We're going to talk about his thoughts on the best investment strategies that you need to be implementing. Now, if you are brand new here, welcome. It is so good to have you. My name is Dallin Hawes, a financial planner serving you folks as federal employees. Welcome, welcome. It is great to have you. So we're going to go over 3 main quotes directly from the great Warren Buffett, investor man himself, and talk about how that applies to you folks as federal employees. So let's dive in. Buckle up. Let's go. Quote number 1, Warren Buffett says, consistently buy an S&P 500 low-cost index fund. He told CNBC in 2017, he says, let me move my screen over so I can see it all. I think it's the thing that makes the most sense practically all of the time. Okay, so let's break that down. So he says buy an S&P 500 low-cost index fund. What the heck is he talking about? What is that? Well, in TSP language, that is the C fund, right? That is exactly what the C fund is. The C fund invests in the S&P 500, which if you don't know, the S&P 500 is the 500 largest companies in the US. So when you're investing in the C fund, you are investing in those 500 big companies, right? So Warren Buffett says, hey, look, go find a low-cost S&P 500 fund. And guess what? The C fund is very low cost, so that's a great place to start. It's low cost, right? And it's S&P 500. And he says, hey, look, I think it's the thing that makes the most sense practically all of the time. Practically all of the time, right? So we know that, hey, the C fund is a great place to start. A great place to start, okay? Now, we could implement some of these other funds as people get closer to retirement, like the G fund, maybe some F fund, maybe get some S fund in there. But we know as a core, the C fund is a fantastic place. And of course, it sounds like Warren Buffett approves. So that is number 1. If you're scared of the C fund, well, maybe you want to read up on some of Warren Buffett's success, right? The reason he's so successful is because he invests in great companies over the long haul, which should be the goal for any investor, is find a strategy and be able to stick with it in the thick or thin, which leaves us to actually the next quote. Warren Buffett, in the next quote, he says this, he says, keep buying through thick and thin, and especially through thin. He told CNBC, the temptation when you see bad headlines in newspapers is to say, well, maybe I should just skip a year or something. Just keep buying. American business is going to be fine over time. So you know the investment universe is going to do very well. And I think so many of us can relate to this. I talk with so many federal employees where, especially as you guys approach retirement, I get it. I get it. You're getting close to the time where you know you need some of this money. You've worked your tail off for decades stuffing money into the TSP. And it scares the snot out of everyone to have that money be volatile as they approach retirement. I get it. Right? That's scary stuff. That is scary stuff. But just like we have to go back to the master himself, right? Warren Buffett, he says, hey, look, the temptation is to see those headlines and say, look, I'm just going to skip a year. I'm going to lie low until I retire. I'm going to stick in the G fund until I retire. I'm going to get out of the C fund and the S fund. G fund's safe. I'm going to stick there, right? But Warren Buffett says, hey, look, you need to keep buying through the thick and thin, and especially in the thin. Especially when things are down, when the market is volatile, when people are scared, that is the time, to be honest, that is going to make the most money for you for the rest of your time, just financially, right? Just financially. To build the most wealth over time is to 100% be focused and invest during those times. It is almost impossible to be able to time the market perfectly, say, hey, look, I'm going to sit out for a year. Right? That is so impossible to do. To get it right, where to know when to come out and when to go back in. That is so difficult to do. So difficult to do. So I know it seems like the right thing to do to come out of the market sometimes, to go into the G fund, but I'm telling you, Find a plan that makes sense for you and stick with it through the thick and thin, and you will be so better off. The chance of your success in retirement is going to be so much higher, it's ridiculous. You look at the numbers, you look how people invest in retirement, the numbers are as plain as day. If you have a plan that makes sense for you and you are able to stick with it, that is going to be the difference maker in a very happy, successful, and comfortable retirement. Okay, next, quote number 3 from Warren Buffett. He says, the trick is not to pick the right company. The trick is to essentially buy all the big companies through the S&P 500 and to do it consistently and to do it in a very, very low-cost way. He told CNBC, you do not want to ever get the impression that you can pick stocks. This is a great quote, okay? Now, if you're watching this, I could assume you're not a professional hedge fund manager, right? I could assume that's not you if you're a federal employee, okay? And if that's not your job, I would leave it to the pros. And guess what? Even the pros stink at picking stocks, okay? Even the pros stink at picking individual stocks. So you don't want to do that. Now, what am I talking about when I talk about this? Now, in the TSP, you don't actually have an opportunity to buy individual stocks. It doesn't exist in there. But what you do have is the mutual fund window, right? Ooh, mutual fund window. Well, guess what? Long story short, I've got other videos specifically on the mutual fund window. Long story short, you're going to pay more for probably a worse investment, right? The fees are relatively high over there, and you're probably not going to do as well as the C fund, the S fund, these core funds that are low cost and efficient. You're going to do worse, right? So my advice, and certainly Warren Buffett agrees, is, hey, look, don't try to pick the winning mutual fund. Don't try to pick the one thing or the one sector that you think is going to outperform. Buy them all. Buy the C fund, buy the S fund, buy all the big companies, right, that are going to do well over time. And the U.S. economy, U.S. business is going to win over time. And you have to have faith in that, right? You have to have faith in that. And things will do well over time. You just have to have the patience and the diligence to sometimes close your eyes and close your ears and say, hey, look, I've got a plan. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to enjoy my life in the meantime and not worry about every single up and down movement of the market. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to do the things that I know I need to do and not worry about it and just enjoy your life. I think it's my best advice is enjoy your life. Enjoy every day. Have a plan. Stick with it so you don't have to worry about the market every single day because that is a very stressful way to live. So I hope that's helpful. Those are 3 quotes from Warren Buffett that I thought applied perfectly to you as federal employees, getting the most out of your TSP, out of your investments, and being prepared for retirement. I've got tons of other videos. If you want specifics on how you should probably be investing in the TSP, go check those out, especially as you're retiring. It really is going to make a big difference having a solid plan for your investments, so definitely check those out. Again, if you're new here, it is great to have you. Welcome to the community, and have a great rest of your day.